Today, 15.
Let's go ahead and call the meeting to order. And then did everybody have a chance to read the minutes from last time?
Yes.
All right. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll motion to approve.
I'll second. Okay, we have approval in a second. Then we
All in
can
favor?
move on to visitor comments.
All in favor?
Oh, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
See, I missed last meeting and I fell on the, and those opposed say nay. All right, there's no nays, so we can move on to visitor comments, and we do not have any visitors today.
Correct.
So we'll move on to old business and the streetscape project.
Streetscape project, the project inclusion list, which, as we just talked about, so I realize our terminology here, I'm gonna move you all out of the way real quick, that says update the document, and email means update the document, but send that document back to Fran, because wherever you're saving it to your local computer, obviously it's not getting back to us. We have put on this list many things that from staff level we have talked about and thought about. These are not necessarily what you should do or are necessarily our recommendations, just trying to give you a broad list of different things we've seen in other places. The fundamental goal of this is that I would say about the next 6 months, we need to start finalizing what we hope to see in terms of streetscape. And again, for a reminder for those who watched last meeting, these are really two different projects. There's what the county's doing, and then while the beautification and streetscape, the city's gonna do alongside in time so that we're digging in the ground at the same time, things like that. So I would encourage us, while certainly money is a factor and we need to think about that, also identify what we really want and what's the priorities, but also, some desires in there as well. And then we'll figure out money on there. And, if there's something that needs to be a phase 2 or simply is never going to be affordable, or at least not in the near-term future, we can eliminate from there. So, but we have, just to go walk through it real quick, streetlights, what types, what heights to think about and such. Heights get to questions like Chris, you've asked in conversations about the banners. You have no place for banners and over the road space. Do you want something like that? So light poles being used to hang them. Do you want festoon lights? That idea of lighting that goes across Big Bend. Those are possibilities. Signage over the road. To give you a different couple options. There's gateway signage, larger poles that stick up. You don't have a lot of right-of-way space for ground signage, but you do have airspace that can be potentially used. Banners, you've got some banners throughout the district. Do you want banners? I would assume so, but I don't want to make assumptions. I'm assuming you want to go to baskets and of some type, more flowers and things like that, similar to the other districts. Do we discontinue or continue sidewalk planners? You're going to get a little wider sidewalks, but does that take up too much of the right of way or space? Those things to talk through. Do you have any desire for pedestrian benches, trash and recycling cans? And then I called it events and activation, but again, that over the road banner, do we want to have some type of that? How do you sign things if you're going to have it happening? Community kiosks, I just gave you a sense of a smart one there. This is St. Louis has one. There's many different styles. You can go just to a regular paper bulletin board, so lots of options. And then public art. So you already have one space that's sort of identified for public art. The Arts Commission's very interested in public art. Is that something you want to include in the plans of the district? So these are elements to add. At some point, we will involve Vera Cavato and Public Works again, and probably a specific firm outside of the firm that's doing the engineering work for the county. It may be Cochran. We'll figure out who we want about what elements to bring in and where and how to space that out in conjunction so that we have our own engineer for our pieces on board. So I'll leave it there. I think it's really, I think you had some ideas, Julia, and we can talk through and add things and such like that. So Madam Chair, I'll turn to you.
The only thing that I had noticed that I really like in Old Webster is how they have the trees like in the sidewalk. You know what I mean? Like it's almost like a square of the sidewalk is cut out and there's a tree that comes out of there. Do you think we have room for that at all? Or like some more like built-in type landscaping instead of baskets and pots?
Understand? I'm gonna say I doubt it.
Yeah.
And so the really good one to look at, Old Webster doesn't have a crowding facade like you have in Crossroads, but if you go right down here to where the apartments edge up on Glen to the sidewalk, we had to take a tree out. because ADA has expanded the size that the sidewalks have to be. And I'm gonna guess that I think once you have a tree well, you still have to allow, I think it's now 40 inches off to the side, and tree wells are almost 3 feet. So you're talking closer to almost a 7-foot span, I think, to get in. Now that, I want to be clear, I can check on that. We can find out. I don't know what, that's also a St. Louis County question in terms of, do they want tree cover and canopy on their right of way as well? And
And
also, I'm sorry, anything about from police perspective on trees that make sure to give you all yes.
Eric and team, I met with Kevin from CDG Engineering yesterday. He was going through our property, kind of figuring out right of ways, like what they needed. And he mentioned that there's a potential to put in trees. He goes, but we're exactly what Eric was saying. There's got to be enough room for the ADA compliance around that. So it's going to be tight, because he was trying to figure out at that point how to save curbs. And I go, why are you going to save this curb? He goes, because costs have gone up and we need to figure out where to cut corners. And I go, you can't save this curb, it's crushed. And he goes, I know. So we're just trying to go through things. So I was walking with him for an hour going through all that. If anyone wants any updates, I'll be more than happy to share them with them. But he's all gung ho for anything we can get with plantings or anything like that. He was very much wants to do whatever we want, but within constraints and budget.
Another opportunity might be like where that crosswalk is. I know like sometimes,
Close.
yeah, like if there's something almost like in the middle of the streets.
Sure, we can definitely, I have no problem looking at that and what goes in the bubble. And that was sort of my question with, I called it a green well, you know, in terms of water overflow. And there's really not enough for a reason for that, but do we have a natural planting of some type space in those wells? So we can certainly, I think those are great questions to ask. And so I agree. We can look to that.
I also really liked the second over the street sign that you added.
Sorry, I'll share those back up. So
Originally, when we were talking about the Grove sign, I was like, I like it, but I don't know if that fits
this one more like that.
vibe, but that I can imagine for sure.
I just have used the Grove site as the reference because
Yeah.
people generally drive down Manchester to get the sense of what I'm talking about. So
And that would say, welcome to Webster Groves,
Could be.
not welcome
be
to
what-
Crossroads.
could be, we have to figure that out. So, yeah. I think there's a city interest as well. You stop and think about it, the gateway for many coming up Elm, you know what I mean? Even off of Big Bend. Over Elm is gonna be a lot easier because we control all of that space. You know, so if you think about just coming up Elm by Schnucks and SSM right there, you know, that kind of space is really easy for us to activate over. Now, that said, something like this over Big Bend's not off the table. I've had those conversations with the county. They're open to it. It's just simply a matter of where we're thinking of and how much space in the right of way. Again, same thing. That pole's gonna have to sit in the sidewalk. So how much room does it allow around the sidewalk and such? Because the county doesn't want to spend time buying more land to simply accommodate poles for over the road signage. So. And if they have to, because we want it, I'm pretty sure we're gonna end up paying for it. So.
Is there any, when you say welcome to Webster, welcome to Webster, does that cut off South Webster? Do they have any
That's
issues
great.
with?
That's a great question. We haven't talked about that. So, you know, I think there's a gateway conversation happening at City Hall, BDC. I think we've had this conversation about, you know, Watson and what are those entry points and how are we activating them in a way? So, but also the same way when you come off and you're heading south, what is that, right? You know, I think that's all on the table, you know, and how do we, our gateway signs right now, you've all, I think, seen them are simply, they're tall, they're black, they've got Webster Groves logo and then a couple different, you know, slots for signs. They're fine, they do great, you don't have to change it, it's just simply, is there something more, you know what I mean? Again, adding from my perspective for you all, destination retail, a place to be, you know, really draw people to that.
That's what I'm thinking for over the street lights too. It's like, that makes it look like people are just, sometimes happening, that's good, but then also like, you can just walk down the street. Well, you're not gonna be able to just walk down that street. To like street festival kind of thing, you know?
Okay, so these are all just ideas and thoughts, so.
Fran, I just emailed you the update to it. You'll have it in a few minutes. It was a 4-faced clock that would go on the corner up there that could say, welcome to Webster Groves, and at the bottom say the Crossroad District. I've seen it done, so I took some pictures and sent them over and found the companies who do it.
Any other? Madam Chair, this is literally time you can all put in ideas or just simply send them in, so.
Okay. Well, continue collecting them and look at them all. Okay. Anybody have anything else to add to the list right now? All right.
Just real quick, how was everyone's reaction to the county's plan?
I thought it was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
When I
it's good, so.
watched the video.
I got that sense
Yeah.
watching everyone, but I wanted to make sure I was reading things right, so we've been and pleased with their follow back with us, you know, on small issues, so. They haven't got a date yet for their meeting and all that kind of stuff, but I said again, we would, you know, we're all in, so we'll help promote and drive people to it and help, you know, get people involved, so.
I thought it was very positive, way more positive than we've ever had. So.
Good.
Okay, if nobody has anything to add to the list right now, then we'll just continue to that until our next meeting, and then we'll move on to new business, our annual report.
Annual report is very simple, but it's due on May 2nd. Let me turn this off and then get to that document. The annual report is filled out with all your names and such. So I need to know who's gonna write very brief narratives and things. We can do it as staff, but I need somebody to tell me that us to do it, or you can do it, Heidi, but ultimately this is due on May 2nd. On May 15th, someone has to present it to the council along with your budget request. All the commissions are doing this, all in one big shot at one meeting. So you don't have to keep coming back for a PowerPoint and things like that. So,
So are the other commissions writing theirs, or?
well, every commission is different. The business districts, I know, I've just planned to fill in and write, because that's what I've asked, and most of them have said, yes, please do it that way.
Okay.
So I'm happy to do that. I just wanted to make sure, yeah,
And then is
send
this
it
when
out
I come again and?
on May
Okay,
15th, yeah.
On May 15th.
Now, this will be due before your next meeting. So my point is as you look at this, if you all have thoughts, we'll shoot it back out to you
Right.
before it goes in. But if you have thoughts, it's gonna need a quick turnaround. It's gonna do on May 2nd to the clerk.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, no, that'd be great if you could.
okay. Your budget request is very simple. The point being, some commissions have asked for more or different changes, you know, things like that. So.
And then the facade grant for descendant.
Facade grant, Descendant has sent in a facade grant. I put the information for you in a link. It's a very simple project. Looks like a total budget of about $5,000. But they are looking to put lighting in on Descendant's front, and so there'll be lighting and then replacement of this facade. Planning and zoning has no issues. There obviously the small little permit work for facade improvements will need to be done and such. The only thing about this is you have given one grant this year already. That's all we budgeted for. You have funds to be able to do it this year if you want to do it. Or it waits a check until July 1, and that means you've already given away your grant for next year. So
Yes, I was going to ask about this myself because our, there's officer knows our, tarp, our awning
Yeah.
totally ripped off with this big winds that we were gonna ask for it too, but she's in there.
well, so you gave one out last year. You've obviously given one to Sylvie D for this year. You're more than welcome to give out more. The council will approve your budget changes to add more facade grants. And you certainly have, you have about just a shade under 20,000 in your fund balance. So yes, you can pull down on some of that to use these grants. So.
So I need to get an application in.
You can turn an application in anytime. We always look to this body. If you have a recommendation on whether or not we should add to the budget, you know, or first of all, approve the facade grant if it fits with the hopes and desires of the character of the community that you have. But also then, this is obviously a budget change, so we would ask, is this a recommendation that we change the budget to add another grant to the line?
So then we are asking, I'm asking a motion to change the budget to approve this facade grant to the budget year.
Yes.
Okay. So all those in favor of changing the
I
budget?
just need a second before you get to voting.
Oh.
Someone needs a second for your motion.
Oh,
There we go.
okay.
There we go.
Oh, yeah, you just skip right to the, okay. I think I am tired this morning. Okay. So all those in favor of changing the budget for this year to approve this facade grant for descendant, say aye. All those opposed, say nay.
Yep.
Okay, so we're good to go on that.
That's good. Yep.
I think going forward, we're gonna need to probably do it two more times, because we've got a new a new owner going in across the street at the Pat's building.
Mhm.
So I'm sure that they're gonna want a grant. And we've had a lot of years where we're not giving out any grants, and if we have people that need grants, we should kind of open the bucket.
So the question,
Everything's gonna get voted on, so
Yep.
right,
if we don't think it's legitimate, then we won't grant it, but
So I think to avoid the budget conversation, we have just automatically put one in your budget every year for some years. I mean, we can up that number. We can make it 2 or 3 every year, so it's there. You're still gonna have them come back here and say, should we do this facade grant? It just gets away from having to change the budget throughout the year. We can do that for your budget coming up as well. I mean, we put one in, I can increase that request for you to a couple.
I say we keep it at one right now. That's what
Okay, and then just, that's fine, so. And then we're in that funny time of year where it's timing, right? I mean, so if Julia's project for any reason doesn't happen until after July 1, it's gonna grab off of next year's money. It's really this year's money, but it just falls back to the bottom line and we grab it again, just so you.
and the new owners coming in have a lot to do with that building, so they may not even submit this year.
That's correct, yeah.
We just got out of tax season, so nobody's done anything except tear it down. It was hanging off this rack.
It's a very efficient meeting today.
Okay, so the BDC update?
BDC, nothing much new to report since last time. We are also doing our budget and reviewing the past year. We've had a really successful year implementing a lot of things like the work in Webster Groves, the blue dot map that's coming out. And we are exploring a CID model potentially to include all of Webster. That is a long project, but if anybody has any questions or input, we'd love to hear it. The BDC is completely guided by the feedback from business owners. And the more of that we get, the better.
Is there any place to look and see what you're working on? Is there?
Yeah.
outside of-
On the city website, you can go back and look at all of our agendas and minutes and watch. But you can also, I'm happy to talk to you about it.
It's not me, it's trying to get the boss to look into these kind of things.
Yeah, well, you can give them my name. But
Okay.
Okay, city update?
Councilmember Franklin is not with us today, but this next meeting, you'll probably have a new liaison because the new council sat last night, so the oaths of office were given. And so they'll go through their selection process of the council and divvy out the boards and commissions. So I would imagine there'll be a change there. Councilmember Jamie Hassmeyer has joined the council. Not that she's going to have you. I don't know who's going to have who in terms of boards and commissions, but Councilmember Richardson is now left. So new member, new term, they'll sort of rearrange their boards and commissions for the next couple of years. Our budget conversation kicks off on May 7th with City Council, and then May 15th is our special meeting that the boards and commissions present at. That will be at Webster U. It's court night here, so we're going to be at Browning Hall at Webster U for that presentation and such. And it's a very open conversation. The schedule's to be firmed up, but I'm going to guess that the business districts and BDC are going to go last, simply out of many of the commissions are going to go pretty rapid fire. It's not going to be a long night. They're pretty small reports, but we see with the BDC and the business districts and sustainability, the biggest requests and changes to sort of status quo operations. So that'll be probably parked there for that part of the conversation to get those other reports done and on. So probably 7:30 when you get up. That's my point. There's many things going on at the city. We will have a new Jenny Starkey, Public Affairs Manager, on board in the next couple of weeks. Finalist has accepted an offer. I can't say yet until they've notified their current employer, but we're very excited about having that position filled again. And police chief finalists are next week. Julia has agreed to sit on a panel, one of our community panels. We thank her. But on Tuesday night from 5 to 7, there's the community meet and greet here at City Hall. All 4 finalists will be here. You can meet them. There's also then a presentation. They each have a 10-minute presentation to give to the community. There will be a feedback form, and you'll be asked to rank them to give feedback to city leadership as well. Officer Rizul, anything from?
No.
Parking's great, all right.
What about that, is it like a vitality position, that other position?
Deputy City Manager of Community Vitality.
Yes.
Yes, so interviews are done. We had an amazing pool of candidates, well, close to 30. I think it's, I can tell the city manager is trying to figure out exactly out of a very good pool of finalists, which way to go. So I have not heard that an offer's been made yet. So you're gonna be with me for a few more months at least, so. Or I'll be with you, one of the two, so.
Does anybody have anything else for the meeting today?
Isn't there a fire recognition event?
Oh, there's been, yes, sorry, thank you. The award ceremony for the fire department is on the 24th. Yes, Wednesday night, the 24th. That's down at Firehouse 2 on South Elm. And then actually on the 27th is Public Safety Day, which is here at Firehouse 1 and Police Department and the county comes and it's a really big day to involve the community. That's all going up today as well.
On the kids, that's always fun.
Always for the kids, yes. And while I'm talking about it, comprehensive plan, actually, thank you for reminding me for all these things, Fran. The comprehensive plan has kicked off. It is called Journey to Destination WG. It is a long process. That will be on May 1, there will be a open house, very early stakeholder listening session group. So for people who are interested in how we use land in the city and such, and what that plan looks like for the comprehensive plan. It's the very first meeting of community stakeholders to come in. It's an open invitation. I'll send that out to all of you. The invitation it's gone out briefly on our Friday page, but that is a big process, about a year to year and a half process. So there'll be an intentional time when they come and meet with you all here at Crossroads, that the Dakota group and the folks on the steering. So.
Anybody have anything else?
I had something real quick. I'm probably gonna have to take a little hiatus from the group, unfortunately. Probably noticed it's getting harder and harder for me to make the Wednesday meetings. My daughter started school and my schedule's crazy. I am free Fridays. I could do Friday mornings. I know that's historically not been a very popular day for meetings. But if anybody's interested in moving it, I'd be, happy. I'd love to stay on, but I can't do really any day but Friday. I do know Kelly is interested in joining back up, but she can't do Wednesdays. So anyway, just wanted to let everybody know before, because I think I'm up for renewal here pretty soon. So
You are indeed.
yeah, so wanted to throw that out there. Like I said, I don't know if anybody's interested in moving to Fridays, but it's getting really, really hard for me to make these, unfortunately. So
Mhm.
Yeah.
So when is your time exactly up, Josh?
I'm not sure, but I'm thinking it's either May or June.
Okay.
I think that's usually when I get the email. I will be out of town June, so there's that.
All right.
Sure. If you guys are willing to move to Friday, let me know. I'm
Yeah.
more than willing and happy to stay on. Otherwise, hopefully I can figure it out and join back up.
I'm not even sure that can be accommodated from Webster's.
Yeah, I don't know.
I have not even thought about it, so I will put some thought into that.
Okay.
So,
Perfect.
yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone have anything else? Julie, did you have something?
I was just gonna ask about the Prop W. But is there like community input and
into all things that are Prop W, yes. So Prop W is the Destination WG bond, the 22 million that just passed. There will be certainly the aquatic center itself, or the water park, is down the design track, but there is 2 upcoming community meetings in the midst of May about design features within what we consider sort of the fenced area that is the water park. And then there will be community input going on in terms of the different features that we've talked about going on within that. So planning and design, scoping, how big do we make a splash pad at Ivory Crockett, those types of things, what kind of features are on the splash pad and such. So yes, there will be all of that. Some of those projects, the water park is sort of the initial one, because our plan, of course, is to demolish this fall and be wholly rebuilt by May. The contractor's already committed to that in the design build process, but there will be some design meetings in May and June for that input. And then I would guess over the course of the summer, the other pieces will start to fall in and public engagement schedule will be put out about the other parts.
So is Destination WG, is that part of that or?
It's sort of the brand name. If you think of a brand name of the investments, it's Destination WG. So, yeah. So you're gonna see Destination WG in a lot of things in terms of those improvements and such. So
Great.
if you have
Thank you.
concerns about anything, you're welcome to voice them. I'm happy to hear, so. Or good things. It doesn't have to be just concerns. I'm just used to concerns. People usually don't tell me about the good things they like, so.
Anybody else have anything?
Nope.
All right, can I get a motion to adjourn for today?
I will motion.
All right, Julie motions, can I have a second?
Chris.
Chris is second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. All right, guys, see you in May, have a great month.
Chris, you're looking good.
Woo! Hey,